Hello again, everyone. Man, this just feels like it was recent that we all talked to you. But we have hats on today, if anyone's watching visually. So this is the first hat podcast version of ball watching. But Jake and Justin are back with you all today to talk a little bit about LAFC, who we have coming up on Wednesday night. Justin, is this a 9:30? This is a 9:30, right? It's one of those late games, obviously, because it's in LA. It has to be. It's a 9:30 for sure.
That's past Will. It is 9:30. That's past Will's bedtime, and that's well past my bedtime.
The worst, man. Put me in the East. This sucks.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. Also, you have. I think I might start doing the intros to these podcasts because you have some of the corniest intros we've ever had.
All right, maybe next episode you'll do the intro.
Oh, the Hat podcast, and we did the preview for Toronto. Shout out Drake. It's like, Jake, we're 28 years old. Thank you.
I can't shout out Drake when we're 28.
I guess you can shout him out anytime you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Taylor Swift. Love you.
Shout out to T Swift. So Justin, I know we have a little bit of a unique thing today in place of the five-a-side. We'll get back to doing those. For anyone that loves the five-a-sides, we'll definitely get back to doing them. It's been a crazy couple of weeks with things going on. But before we jump into the preview, what do you got for us here?
Yeah, we definitely need to get back to five-sides. I just feel like we've been packed with preview, recap. We need to spend some time having fun. So Jake, so for all the listeners, I have not told Jake what this is. So this is a little spring on him. Jake, so we are playing LAFC. There's not a whole lot of history with St. Louis or anything like that. So I'm going to hit you with a quick question. So, Jake, there are 11 sports teams, professional sports teams in Los Angeles. Oh, 2 of them are LAFC and LA Galaxy. Taking them out right now. There's 9 left. In the next 30 seconds, pulling up timer, you have to name 6 of the other ones. In 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Okay.
Go.
All right, let's start basketball. Clippers.
Got it. 1.
Lakers.
2.
Kings for hockey.
3.
The Rams, of course,
4.
our favorite.
15 seconds.
What's the Chargers, right? Chargers are now.
5.
Baseball. Dodgers.
6. Keep going. 5 seconds.
Does like women's teams count?
Yep.
Don't they have
time?
Angel City. Oh, okay.
When you say women's team, I was proud of you. The Sparks, WNBA, is what you missed.
Yeah.
Technically, they count the Anaheim Ducks, if you want to call that. And then the Angels, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You're close, though. I was proud of you. You got 4 within 15 seconds. I'm like,
it's not bad.
That was good.
Not bad.
Nice job.
All right. Well, LAFC's been a notable team for them recently. This is the 2022 defending champions for MLS Cup and Supporter Shield. So the most points in the MLS last year. Look a little bit different, though, but this is a team that was established in 2014. Didn't start play, though, until 2018. There was somehow a connection with them and Chivas USA, who used to be a MLS team. They were dissolved, and somehow that resulted in the transaction being LAFC getting an MLS team. So basically, this is a team that's been super strong since arriving on the scene. They also won the Supporter Shield in 2019. So I would equate them to like a Vegas Knights situation with expansion team. They were born and they've been rocking ever since the start. So they're a good team. They have a bunch of celebrity owners. You wrote a couple down here, Justin. The one I knew it was Will Ferrell. I didn't know there was all these other ones.
Yeah, Magic Johnson, Will Ferrell, Mia Hamm, and her husband, Nomar Garcia-Barra. Those are some of the notable ones. And I will say, Jake, is it appropriate now for us to be like, yeah, they're like the Vegas Knights of expansion teams? Can we start saying they're the STL City of expansion teams?
That's true. I like that.
We don't have a lot of history, but I mean, we're about as high as you can get.
Yeah, they're like kind of like almost like us in a sense, right? I mean,
we'll probably people like, yeah, they want to be us kind of thing.
Right. We're on their wall. Like they dream and they aspire to be St. Louis City.
Yeah, they were born like how many years ago? 4 years ago, 5 years ago. They were dreaming of us now.
Right. No,
Inception type stuff. Yeah.
I totally agree. And unfortunately, man, no, I could not find the weakest, slightest St. Louis link to LAFC. And I was really digging for that. But we do have one in the form of a drink.
In the form of a drink, our man, Luis Manta, is out in LA. Soul Juice. Stuff's incredible. I still love that they actually put it on the bottle. It tastes like a less sugary apple juice. It really does. And it's incredible. It will, if you want to gear up for an indoor game, an outdoor game, you're going for a run, post-run, hungover on a Sunday morning, this is the stuff to drink.
It's refreshing too. It's a good taste. It's not like over the top sugary at all tasting. It's really subtle. And you see Jordan Morris just signed on there too.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And then he also launched in some of the Costco's up in the Northwest as well. Luis has been absolutely killing it. We will be coming out with more news. We keep teasing that later on, a possible sponsorship. Jake, nice hat as well.
Thank you.
And I'm going to shout out Luis right now. I want an in-person interview. He's working on another promotion with 2 people. I want an in-person interview with them. That's just selfish for me.
I love it. So that's Soul Juice Warrior. Much more to come on that. But back to LAFC. 2023 so far for them. It's been a story of 2 kind of halves or 2 parts of this first half of the season for them. We have not played them yet. We were supposed to play them earlier, but our game was moved due to the CONCACAF Champions League. And so we'll actually end up playing them at home in September now. But that was kind of ultimately a little bit of their undoing, their loss in the Champions League. But before we get there, their records and standings this year so far in the MLS they've amassed, I think, 33 points. Is that still accurate from last night, Justin? It might be 34 now, but the record is 9-6-6. So 9 wins, 6 losses, 6 draws now. They've got a pretty solid home record with 6 wins there, only 3 on the road. And they've had a pretty tight goal differential, which is surprising because I think a lot of people attribute LAFC with success and being one of the powerhouse teams, but only got 30 goals for compared to 24 against. So a positive 6 goal differential. And they've had some different types of results depending on the opponent this year. Not really anything blowing anyone out of the water. They're losing some games they shouldn't lose, and they're winning some games by a lot that they maybe shouldn't have. So they've been impressive.
They have been impressive, but I mean, their most recent one last night was against the San Jose Earthquakes, and the Earthquakes actually had a red card in the 56th minute and still pulled out a tie for the Earthquakes. Good for them. I mean, that's a team we've talked about it. We went in and gave them their first home L. But for LAFC, they kind of dropped some points there.
They did. I mean, for example, I think they lost 4-0 to Houston, but they won 4-0 against the Revolution. Revolution have been dynamite. That was earlier on in the season, so things might have changed, but they drew and won against Seattle. They drew against Atlanta. They won against the Galaxy, but then they lost against the Galaxy in the second leg of that fixture in what was the MLS record for the highest attendance at the Rose Bowl in El Tráfico. They had 82,000 people attending that, which is, it gives me goosebumps, honestly, to see an MLS game getting that many people going to, despite it being LA, and you kind of expect that. But El Tráfico, I just love the origin of that rivalry and the name. It's so original. It's so MLS.
I loved it, dude. And I think Taylor Twellman might have quote tweeted it. It was good to see the LA Galaxy, shout out to them and their fans, come back, because I know they've had a little bit of a athletic or A's situation of kind of like protesting and with everything going on. So it was incredible to see that many people. I know we're rocking here in St. Louis with only 22,500 people. Now multiply that by 4. That place was nuts.
Yeah, it looked awesome. It was a great spectacle, and I'm glad the Galaxy came out on top. So yes, in that note, they lost the Galaxy. They just now tied against San Jose. They're definitely floundering a little bit, and that's kind of been happening since they lost in the Champions League. But they have some ballers on this team. You can't look much further than Denny Bouanga, man. This guy is a grade A striker, winger, wherever you want to put him on the forward line, he produces. He's 28 years old. He's from Gabon. And he joined LAFC in the August of last year. He played 4 full seasons before that in Ligue 1 in France. I learned that's how they say that. It's not Ligue 1, it's Ligue 1. So, yeah.
Wait, what? You're talking about like Ligue 1 is Ligue 1?
Ligue 1. Yeah, like that's how the French say 1 or something like that. So I could be totally butchering that, but that's what I get from people I listen to. Anyway.
Yeah, and when you put that in the note, I was happy you took him because Justin quickly Googles Gabon. Didn't know that was a country. Where is this?
You know, Gabon is where Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also is from.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
They have like 2 baller strikers, but no one else. Is
that this is gonna be probably a dumb question? I'll get a lot of flack for this. Is that the Emirates?
What do you mean? That was? Oh no. I think Gabon is in Africa.
It is in Africa.
No, the Emirates is over in the far east.
Is Justin just completely thinking back to
so
when
maybe
for Arsenal and I saw Aubameyang with Emirates on it, and then
maybe
I'm absolutely butchering this.
Maybe the next where we go from here, Justin, we got to pull up a map and give you a quick geography lesson.
Yeah, maybe that's the next 5-side. Name countries for Justin. All right, it's right next to Cameroon and the Republic of Congo.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. So yeah, he's a great player. He's, like I said, a lot of time in France, 26 goals, 13 assists in 96 games played over there. And he's made 35 caps for the national team in Gabon. This season for LAFC, he's got 12 goals, 2 assists. He's tied for the most non-penalty goals. He did score a penalty last night in or their last fixture against San Jose. Most shots on target in the MLS, most shots per 90, most carries into the penalty area. He is a lethal force for LAFC. Where would they be without him? No one knows, because he has been everything for them this season, where you'd think Vela would be, but he's not.
Yeah. Before we get into Vela, Jake, quick question for you. Who would lose more points by losing their main guy? Us losing Berkey or them losing him?
So Berkey is our main guy in this scenario.
Yeah. So like if both of them were not on either of our teams, who would have less points than what they've already had?
I think we might have less points.
Okay.
I think Vela would have come through.
22 games he's scoring. Literally, I might bet on him to score against.
Yeah,
them.
no, he's definitely a beast. I think it'd be close, man. He's been huge for them. Vela's got, so getting on to Carlos Vela, who is the face of the franchise. He has been since they started. He's a 33-year-old Mexican international with 149 goals and 86 assists in 427 first-tier games played across the globe. He's played for Arsenal, he's played for West Brom, he's played for Real Sociedad in Spain, and now for LAFC. He was the 2019 MVP, and for Mexico, he has 19 goals and 9 assists and 72 caps. I think he's done with them. I don't think he's getting called in anymore, but this season for LAFC, 6 goals, 5 assists, so pretty well balanced. He is their captain, and like I said, everyone kind of pictures him when you think about LAFC, but he hasn't been himself. Rumor is that I've seen, Justin, I don't know if you've seen pictures of him. It looks like he's put on some poundage and he's not moving around like he used to, but he's also 33.
Yeah, he's just enjoying some good food. There's
nothing wrong with why not?
Don't call him out for that. Just let the man live. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he's definitely not the man he used to be. So, I mean, but still an incredible player. So something we need to keep an eye on. And then Diego Palacios.
You're close.
Yeah, close. 23-year-old from Ecuador. I do know that country. Played professionally in Ecuador's top tier in a season in the Netherlands as well. Now worth $4 million on looking at like a transfer fee. 12 caps for the Ecuador men's national team. Highest rated player and leads them in tackles and interceptions, which is kind of for him being their highest rated player as a left back.
Yeah,
kind of surprising, especially with Bonega and Vela. I'm gonna call Vela. Yeah, go ahead.
I agreed. You'd think it'd be like a Boanga or someone else, but a left back being your highest rated player over the course of a season is interesting to say so far. They've also got some other guys we didn't talk about, but Kellen Acosta is on the team, obviously a U.S. men's national team guy. Aaron Long, same gig. He's on international duty right now with the Gold Cup team. And then Giorgio Chiellini, who is a legend of the Italian national team and of Juventus. Played. I mean, the guy looks like he's 55. I don't know how he's still playing. Actually, I'm going to pull up his age while we get into the next stuff here.
Him and Klaus were in grade school together during World War II.
I'm not kidding. Giorgio Chiellini might have been. He's 38. 38 is like 75 in soccer years. It's so old.
I mean, 38 sounds so young. It's like, oh, I can still move around. But the man has been playing professional soccer now for probably 20 years, I would say, at least.
Especially for a field player.
Absurd for your knees. I tore both my ACLs in like 3 years.
Yeah, he's been a pro since 2000.
23 years. That's absurd.
Yeah, unreal.
That is absolutely absurd. Which awesome. Yeah, Kellen Acosta, we already mentioned, though. Kind of surprising. We talked about this off air, Jake. The man has only he's only played in 13 of their games, only started 10, 832 minutes. That is low. And for a guy that, like, one of Greg's main dudes, like, he was our center mid captain for a couple games as well for the U.S. men's national team.
I know. It's interesting. I don't know if it was injury related or what was happening, or if he's just been replaced for them, but he has been a big part of LAFC, and especially since he was traded, I think, from Colorado. But LAFC is right now coached by Steve Cherundolo, for those that followed men's national team. He
One
was
of my favorite last names.
Yeah, great last name. I agree. Very unique, very fun to say. Like, definitely a 10 out of 10 when you think about just fun. So Steve Cherundolo is the coach, men's national team guy, definitely. He loves a good 4-3-3, and he loves possession. This is a team that is looking to kill you with passing and possession. They're going to pass. They're going to be fast. They're also going to do a little bit of counter pressing as well as soon as they lose that ball. they only conceded 38 goals across all of 2022, which was the second least, with the ability to also kind of sit deep and soak up pressure. So when Cherundolo kind of came in, they were already great attacking. And I think what he did was kind of offer them a little more defensive stability so they can get into those moments and manage games and rely on a counterattack that has a guy like Denny Bouanga or Carlos Vela to go punch you in the mouth after you were sitting back for 15 minutes absorbing wave after wave. So this is a good team front to back.
Oh, I completely agree. And then also when you said how fast they are, I immediately went and looked at the weather. It's not going to be that hot. It's going to be a high of 88 on in LA on Wednesday. So, I mean, it's still going to be one of those teams. And we'll talk about when we get into bets. I think this is going to be a very fast-paced game.
I think so too. It'll be a very fun watch. Like I said, they're very comfortable in possession in their own half. They just kind of wait to probe for openings and little breaks. And so you got to be very, very compact, and everyone's got to know their role in this game because they are high up in the Western Conference right now. They're just with us, nipping at our heels. Obviously, we're still number one. But I will say, like I said already a couple times here, they were a different team before the CONCACAF Champions League final. They made it to the final and they lost, and that kind of derailed all their momentum they had earlier on in the season. So they're trying to emerge from a 2-win, 5-loss, 2-draw stretch that has followed since losing that final against Club Leon. So they're trying to overcome that. I do also think we're fortunate in meeting them when we are, because it looks like they got some stuff in the works. They just made a trade with Montreal to send one of their players, Kwadwo Opaku, to Montreal for $1.75 million in general allocation money. This was a guy that played every single game for them last year. Not started, but played in every single game last year. So rumor is they're looking to make a big splash, make a big sign this summer.
Dude, they need to do something. If you look at this on their most recent game, so obviously they just tied San Jose. We touched on that. Lost in El Tráfico to LA Galaxy. Lost 2-0 to Dallas. At Dallas, fine. Losing at home to Vancouver, depressing. And that was the 3 games before that. And then, they beat Seattle 1-0 and beat the S-Words 2-1, but they're in a tough stretch right now.
Yeah, they are. So they're in the top 10. They're in the top 10 in the MLS power ranking.
Yeah, they're holding on. But it could be a quick downturn. I mean, we already talked about how tight the West is. We talked about we're teasing a little bit of doing a magic number, but it is very tight up top.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're definitely resting on a lot of the cushion from the points they got earlier on in the season, but I think they'll turn around, especially with the new big signing, which is ultimately going to happen, going to come in. This is a team offensively, when you look at them, XG of 1.91 per 90 minutes. So just a reminder on the XG for everyone listening in here, if you're a new listener, XG is expected goals. So if you look at like a mathematical model, they quantify every opportunity that's taken when it leaves the boot. This does not factor in a goalie's ability to save the ball. It's just the quality of the shot itself. And they have a stat for that other one I just mentioned. That's called post-shot XG, but let's just stick with XG. So XG, they're expected to score basically 2 goals a game is what these models are saying. That's absurd. That's number 1 in the MLS. I'm trying to think of our most recent one. I think we're around the 1.3 to 1.4 range. They actually do score, though, 1.4 goals per game. So slightly underperforming what they should be, but that's still top 10. So these guys are high-powered.
Jake, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in the lines, but the over 2.5 is minus 210. That is by far the most we've had in any game so far. That is juicy, and it's well-deserved with this game, and I'll probably still hammer that. But yeah, they're actually 2.12, number 2 in MLS. 20% of their goals for come in the 81st to 90th minute. Why does every team that we play have this? Because I feel like do we have a stat down here for how many goals we give up? Because I feel like 50% of ours come in that time.
Yeah.
And 17% of them in the 61st to 70th. So looking to score in the second half, this might be a good bet for our over second half bet.
I'll pull it up while we're talking about it. But yeah, this is a good team. No matter what phase of the game it's in, that a lot of those goals do fall then. They score most of their goals from inside the 18. They're a big progression team. When I say that, like they do beautiful building momentums and swings and passing and lovely connections in play. So they're top 5 in progressive carries and passes. They have guys that can string together tons of passes and make inroads forward. They can also have guys just carry the ball forward, which we don't do I think where they're top 5 in both those. I think we're probably bottom 5 in both of those. And that's just because we play so direct and so quick. By the way, the stat on our goal concessions are we concede 25% of our goals in that 81 to 90 time frame. So that's the stat there. Hoping that does not happen coming up here.
It could have very easily happened last game as well. I will say just an absurd stat for me is that they have over 2,000 more pass attempts than we have in our games. Like imagine just me and you just standing next to each other and passing the ball back and forth and counting to 2,000.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot of passes. This is like I said, a very, very good team. Possession is the name of the game for them. They have the most PKs taken too, so they get fouled a lot in dangerous spots. They possess 55% of possession throughout all their home games. Top 10 in passes. A lot of those passes, they lead the league in those final third passes or passes into the 18-yard box. They do a lot of through balls. They are second in corner kicks as well. So this is a team that's going to do very, very well at home. They generate 1.91 points per match right now at home. And the first half particularly, they're very, very strong in. So we're going to need to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I was kind of hoping they would give up a ton of goals too. They've tied with us for 24 goals against on both teams. I still think that this game is going to be extremely fast paced and fun to watch. But getting into their defense, their XGA 1.3 per 90 minutes. That's top 10. 1.14 goals against per game, which is also top 10. So their defense is solid. Their offense is solid. They're in a little bit of a downturn, so hopefully we can kind of keep that momentum rolling for them specifically. Their home form, even a little bit better, 1.17 XGA, seventh best in the MLS. And then also looking at 21% of their goals against come from the 81st to 90th minute and 17 from 21st to 30th. So pretty even if you look at that when you look at like first half, second half. But maybe this is one of those games where we can get one of those sneaky late goals.
Would love to. Just a gut punch at the end of a game against a good team like this. They have the fourth most tackles too. So they're top 10 in every phase of the game. So in their third, in the middle third, in the opponent's third, they're everywhere. So they're definitely a tackling team. They allow the fifth fewest shots on target against, so they don't allow much to their goalkeeper, who's done fairly well this season. 36% of their games have been clean sheets at home. He's got a 74% save percentage, which is the sixth best, but still not as good as our man between the pipes, Roman Berkey. But some keys to the game, Justin, just kind of to collate between what we talked about here. A lot of it's just kind of like do the opposite of what they're good at or try to combat that in a certain way. I think against this team, you've got to start hot. They are a super, super good team in the first half, especially, and they win about just over half of the first half. So they win them. They go into halftime up at halftime. So they're not as great in the second half. They usually come out of the second half with about a 70% draw rate. So they go into the final. If you just take second halves, they usually draw about 70% of those. So I'm really hoping that the team starts hot because the game against, oh, wow, I'm already blanking. The game that we just had against Toronto, that was not a hot start. In fact, it was a very, very cold start, and we're coming on shorter rest now. So this needs to be something we address.
It's one of those things that, especially going on the road, you need a hot start. And not only a hot start, but we also need to stay composed. We cannot give up a goal in the first 20 minutes or so because this thing can get out of hand quickly. We're already talking about with their goal scorers and how many goals they score. Second most in corners. So one of those things where we start with a hot start, but also needs to stay very composed. Looking at our offense, we do need to play our game. We already talked about it. It's going to be a very quick game. So we need to put pressure on them, counter passes. I would say that like we also don't need to live up to the hype. Like LAFC, big name. Like we're fine. We are above the table in these guys. We can compete. Stick to what we know. Don't try to play out of our shorts. Get up, press these guys, but then also be very aware of the counterattack because they will just turn it right around on us.
Yeah, we're playing with a luxury, right? We've amassed so many points this season already. The last thing you should be going into this game is just closing up shop and trying to defend and try to come out with a tie. You should go toe-to-toe with these guys. If I'm Carnell, I am absolutely going for it against LAFC. You have nothing to lose besides just the game, and that's just one game. So I definitely want them to go for it in this game. We need to be lethal, ruthless with our chances. We have not done so the last couple games. We need to be taking any opportunity that comes our way, no matter who it falls to. Get the ball to Aziel Jackson. This guy is a beast, man. He just flows on the ball. He makes our offense tick, and we've got to find him in dangerous spaces. When he's going forward, defenses looking at film of him have got to be crapping themselves, man. He looks so dangerous. He has options. He has great vision. He's got a little bit of the final product in him as well. So definitely a lot more to come from him, but I get the ball to him. He's a magic man.
I completely agree. And that's going to be especially important with our counterattacks on them. It is a weakness of theirs. So once they're up and trying to possess through us with the amount of passes they have, let's turn it quickly. AZ is going to be our point man, just looking to dish the ball or take guys one-on-one. We'll talk about best, Jake. I think it will before. Actually, I'll talk about it right now. I think I'm going to take a Celio Pompeo goal.
Ooh, okay.
I think this guy is churning for one. He's seeing AZ out there and his mouth is watering. He's like, that could be me with ease, and he's going to do it. But before we get into Batson starting lineups and all that, let's talk about their defense real quick. For us specifically, keys to the game of the defense. We need to weather the home field advantage, quote unquote, for them. They have way more shots on home, 15 typically versus 12 on the road. They put up greater than 1 goal in all but 3 of their 10 home matches. So this game is going to be very quick, but yet they have not seen Mr. Roman Berkey.
They have not. They have not been shut out at home yet. Wouldn't that be nice to be the first team to do that at LAFC this season? Another thing I want to point out, it's possible. Anything's possible with Roman Berkey between the pipes for us, but I will say it'll be definitely a tall order for any team going to LAFC. But for me, a couple small things to stay, on top of. Do not foul this team. They have good goals created and good shot creation from being fouled in dangerous areas. They have dangerous free kick takers, dangerous set pieces. Do not be stupid. Stay composed. Stay on your feet when you can, especially in our own half. This is not a team you be messing around with that type of stuff with. Also, stay aware. Late in the game, you see how dangerous they are. You see how many goals they score in the 81st and 90th minute. Do not lose sight of what's important. Play composed, play the ball to the corner. You don't need to dribble the entire team. You don't need to create these beautiful passing moves. Just be smart. Play with what the game state is. If we're down, we're going forward. Everyone's running with it. If we're defending a lead, kick that ball to the freaking moon if you have to, but towards their half. Just be smart. You gotta stay composed against a team like this. They will not let up on any errors we make. They will pounce.
Before we get into starting 11, Jake, I want to put a positive spin on this. Like I said, this is one of those teams where it's a big name. It's like, oh, LAFC, we're going to LA to play these guys. We can absolutely, if we want to, and if we play well, we can beat these guys 3-1. I'm not that concerned about this. Yes, we need to play composed. We need to be well aware of their stars and all of that. We are one of those teams that can play through these guys. They have a couple big names. Shut them down. Put Blum on him. Put him in his pocket. Might even have Lewin come back. We'll touch on that in a second. I am not overly worried we have Berkey in the net. If we can finish our chances, we can easily put these guys away. Positive spin.
No, I think so too, especially right now with how they've kind of dipped in form. So I'm with you. I'm definitely optimistic. So starting 11, I think I'm going to bring most of the starting 11 back because all we're assuming here is that maybe you'll have Leuven fit and available, but not 90 minutes fit. There's no chance he comes back and they just throw him in for 90 minutes. And if that happens, I'll do something. I just don't think that's going to happen. But maybe a second half appearance for him, depending on how things are going. I think we're going to start. If they want to do some sort of rotation, I could see them going back to maybe Parker and Hebert maybe in the middle and throwing Nelson in at left back. They're going to have to rotate at some point this week, right? Because you have 2 games. We just played as well. There's going to be some rotation. I do think Johnny Nelson will get a game this week. And I don't know who it'll come with because I think Inter Miami, you also got to treat very seriously. You got to get 3 points there at home. It's our final home game before Leagues Cup. So I could see a rotated back 4 featuring Nelson and probably moving maybe Hebert into the middle, maybe even seeing a Bartlett. I don't think you can take out Aziel Jackson at this moment. I don't think he can be removed from the lineup. I don't know what would happen to us if he got removed. I see Indy sticking. I see Blum sticking. I don't think Miggy's ready to run that midfield base by himself, especially against LAFC. I really worry about something like that.
No, I don't think Miggy's gonna be starting. I think we'll probably keep a very similar, if not the exact same starting lineup. I would like to see a little bit of rotation just for legs. We're not trying to save up for Miami, who's one of the worst teams in MLS. We're not playing Messi anyway, so I would say, yeah, we'll probably keep it similar. We need to see a lot more out of Sam and Nico up top. I know we talked about it on the recap the other day. We definitely need to see a little bit more out of them. I would like to see a little bit more creativity out of Indy. I feel like you said, once Aziel's been kind of taken over, Indy's kind of fallen off. Compete with this man. Let's have 2 men of the match, and let's go with that. I don't know. I don't think our backline changes though with Hebert on the left, Parker, Yarrow, and Watts. I mean, we saw a little bit of Nowinski in the game versus Toronto. Yes, you could probably. Bartlett hasn't seen the field in a bit, so if we need some fresh legs, maybe throw him in there. But I don't think you're taking Tim Parker out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there'll be some rotations regardless. It's just you could go so many different directions because you have to in these moments. You got to give some guys minutes because it's been a long season already, and we have guys that are capable of stepping up. So I'm comfortable wherever we go. I could see maybe even Ostrak getting some minutes. I can see him dropping Gioacchini to just rest him. I think you mentioned on on the recap for Toronto. He looked a little maybe tired out there. So give him a game and have him just explode against Inter Miami. I'm happy for that. So I'm open to rotation here, even if I do think it might limit us a little bit. I just want to see us go out there and fight. I don't want to see us be scared of LAFC. They're not a team we should be scared of at this moment.
Dude, we had absolutely nothing to lose. You already mentioned it. It's one game. It's a midweek game anyways. We're going on the road. I think we're flying straight from Toronto to there.
Yep.
So, I mean, just go and let's just try to punch them in the mouth and get out of there with at least a point, if not 3. I feel like we've kind of done this preview, like tentatively, like what if we just blow these guys out of the water and show them that we are here to play? Like, yes, we're an expansion team. I don't give a flying poop that we're new. Like, we can go out there and actually take care of these guys.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? So prediction time, Justin, you go ahead and start.
Yeah. So we already talked about it. I think it's going to be a lot of goals. I'm going to say conservatively, I'm going to give us a 2-2. I don't think we can do a clean sheet against these guys as we have been, but I think we're going to get some goals from guys I would love to see. I'm going to guess a Sam goal and a Celio goal. You cannot take goal props right now because it's this early in the week, but once we go and take it closer to the game, I'm definitely taking a Celio goal. But I'm going to take a 2-2 conservative. I think we're going to go up. I think we're going to go up 1-0. They're going to come back and score 2. Maybe it'll be 1-1 at halftime. They're going to score an early one in the second half, and we're going to put one. We're going to get a late one. We're going to finally flip that narrative.
I'm going to follow you in this one. I think there's definitely goals in this game. 4 seems about right. And I definitely think we're getting on the board. And I definitely think they're getting on the board. And it's going to be a battle of a game. I mean, it'll be a fun Wednesday night, despite it being late, to watch this type of game. I think for any casual MLS fans out there, this is one that you'll want to watch. I mean, it's the two arguably the best teams in the West. Even the West is such a crapshoot this year, but it'll be a fun game.
So, Jake, I understand that we've been pretty conservative with this in the preview, and I think it's maybe because I looked at the lines ahead of time. I think these are absolutely rude. I think this is the biggest upset line we've had this year. We're plus 400 to win the game. LAFC minus 205, draw plus 360. Over under, we already said 2.5. The over is minus 210. The under plus 160. What are you looking to ride in this game?
One thing I want to say is I wonder at this exact moment, if this was us playing at home, I wonder what those lines would be. I still think we'd be underdogs. I think we would be decent underdogs.
The minus 205, like they would probably, I mean, LAFC at the very worst would be plus 100. Like I just think, but I still think it's just absolutely rude.
Yeah. So my bet for this is be a little conservative, but take advantage of that book. So the book's saying basically we have no chance and double chance. So us to tie or to win would be plus 150. So you've 2 possible results. You know the guys are going to go out there hopefully fired up and ready to take on one of the best teams of recently in MLS. We don't care about reputations or brands or who won last year's trophy. And I really hope Carnell hits on that this week, and I'm sure he will. So I'm taking the double chance.
I like that. There's no reason why this line is as bad as it is. And I will always take us at a plus money double chance. So I'm riding that with you as well. And I will be laying a little bit more juice on both teams to score. With them having this over 2.5 at minus 210, the both teams score at minus 170 seems low to me. I feel like both teams score minus 170 is pretty consistent with our game. So I absolutely think that LAFC is going to score. No doubt in my mind that we're going to score a goal as well. So minus 170, I'll be laying that. And a little sprinkle on a same game parlay that I just put together while we were doing this podcast. The over 2.5 goals in the game and the over 8.5 corners is plus 105. Ooh. We're playing against the team that is number 2 in corners. We like to get up and down. We know it's going to be fast-paced, a lot of shots, a lot of blocks. I like the 8.5 corners. I think that's low on the number of corners. That's not even like the even money corners, obviously, with me only getting it at even money with the parlay. I think the total corners, I'll get you right now, if you wanted to take the over 9.5 is minus 135 on its own. So taking it a corner down and still getting plus money there with the over 2.5 goals, I like.
We've been hitting on the bets, man. We were green for the Toronto game, so I'm hoping we were green here. I just hope the books were idiots about the Toronto game. I should have bet money line and not drawn a bet. I really thought we were going to win that game, and I would have been even richer. But I do think this is another example. I do think we should be underdogs. Don't get me wrong, but not that far. Like that is crazy. So hopefully there's some money to be made in this game. We will be absolutely locking in there. I know you'll put up some lines on the Instagram beforehand, but big game on Wednesday, big week ahead. Inter Miami on Saturday as well. We will circle back with you all on probably Thursday at some point to recap this game and just do probably a pretty brief preview for Inter Miami. There's not much to preview with that team.
No Busquets, no Jordi Alba, I think we're fine there. I will say, Jake, let's say it out loud, because when I was putting the lines up yesterday, I was like, dude, these numbers have fallen so much. Take your bets now. If you like it, hit it. I promise you that we are not going to go higher than a plus 400 money line. There's no way that once we get closer to the game that holds. I bet you it gets down to plus 350. I bet you the both team score gets minus 200. If you like it, bet now, take it.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. That's your preview for St. Louis City SC as they look to take on LAFC at 9:30 Central on Wednesday. So we hope you all enjoyed the show. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Same exact thing. Rate, review on your podcast platform of choice.
I will also say, Jake, if you guys, it's a late game, but if you're looking to enjoy it from your couch, maybe move to the couch at the pitch. Plenty of couches, a little frozen Irish coffee, keep you up a little bit longer. You're going to need to. The game's not going to end till 11. Get there, spend some money, have some fun. Great people over there.
Amen. And with that, Ball Watching signing off. We'll talk to you later in the week.
All for City.
All for City.